As my title sequence contained no whole people, it seemed suitable for me to write about the representation of police and crime in my video. In the media, cops are generally shown as being professional but also quite corrupt. We are reminded that although they're cops and they have a lot of responsibility, they're still only human and they're prone to making mistakes too. It's a dominant representation, and many argue this is a true representation. According to the Guardian newspaper, the Los Angeles Police Department are the worst represented of them all, particularly in media productions such as Beverly Hills Cop, LA Confidential and The Changeling. Another interesting appearance for LAPD is in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. The evil T-1000 cyborg takes the form of an LAPD cop, which suggests more brutality and violence. It also suggests an ingrained Hollywood antipathy towards the body of police. This is the dominant ideology of the professional police in these times, especially in thrillers and action films. In comedy, this is more of an alternative representation, or possibly absent, as normally the dominant representation of cops in a comedy is fat and eating lots of donuts, and being lazy and just not bothering. Another representation of cops in media productions could be that cop life is extremely exciting and is full of twists and turns and puzzles and experiences, as portrayed in many films, for example Zodiac and also the crime series CSI. These type of productions make cops seem like an interesting spiral of events. The film Zodiac is about a serial killer. He shoots people and he sends the police all these letters of ciphers and puzzles, and it's based on a true story pretty much. This also happens quite a lot in CSI, where it seems like every day they have to deal with some kind of serial killer or weird murder. In these productions you don't normally see corrupt cops, as they're shown as really professional, really caring and really responsible. They're also a little bit snobby. In thrillers, the absent representation of cops is the bumbling fat man we mentioned a bit earlier, merely because it doesn't really make for a very professional production about cop life. It would make it seem as a bit of a joke, and obviously thrillers are about serious situations, and to construct the sense of reality needed to make it effective, professional smart cops are portrayed. I feel this is an emergent ideology due to the success of shows such as CSI. Cop roles are shown as being more glamorous and exciting more and more in the media. Due to this idea of professionalism within the cop world becoming more emergent, I feel that the comedy cop with his donuts and his beer belly is becoming more residual, even within comedies. In the film Hot Fuzz, all the cops are pretty stupid and fat and weird and just not good. But a new cop kind of comes around and he's really successful and professional and he's really good and he makes them all look really bad. He's kind of an alternative representation of a cop in a comedy because they're not normally shown as actually good. In my title sequence, I feel I've gone for this second representation, taking pride in place in productions such as Zodiac, Donnie Brasco and the whole CSI brand. In my title sequences, my cops seem to be on the scene straight away, down to taking photographs and investigating my victim. I think I have also backed up this representation by the way the cops in my production are talking on radios and communicating. Cops are not actually shown in my title sequence, so it's kind of a bit difficult for me to have represented them in any particular way. However, I feel that the feel of my title sequence and the story that's kind of involved could kind of relate to this representation, and about the story is about trying to solve a thrilling cold case about a serial killer. I think that the story itself represents cops as having an exciting life and being really involved in stuff with crimes and stuff like this, and having a lot of exciting work to do. Although we obviously know that this isn't what it's really like. I feel that my project kind of reinforces the glamorous hype that surrounds police and surrounds their daily lives. The film Zodiac kind of reflects my aims of the film that I wanted to make. I wanted it to kind of be full of interesting puzzles and turns and events, kind of similar to the story in Zodiac. It's about a serial killer and the hunt to figure out who he is and find out what he's about, using clues and puzzles he leaves behind and sends. This is what the story behind my film pretty much is. I was really inspired by it, and Zodiac and Seven. In my title sequence, cops are shown as being intelligent, interesting and professional. Both of the cops talking on the radio are male, so I guess it kind of did represent the cops as being mainly male. But obviously we know that a lot of them are female nowadays. This kind of, I don't know, it kind of gives the idea of them being really tough and ready for anything. And a lot more dominant. Generally in shows such as CSI, The Mentalist, Monk and Zodiac and Seven, the main characters are male. Monk and The Mentalist are shows about the police, but the main character is a cop. Yeah, he kind of has these special instincts that make him seem much cleverer and more professional. In both of these series, the cop can interpret body language really well. He knows when people are lying, and they both have the ability to think like a criminal. This helps tremendously with the case. Another show called Lie to Me is about a guy who's a cop and he knows when people are lying. They make for very interesting stories, and it kind of invites the audience to kind of think along and try and think what they're thinking and see what they're seeing. This ideology of the kind of the special cop is a lot more emergent because of the success of the show like Monk, which I don't think they make anymore. And as you can see in this image of The Mentalist, the code left by the serial killer is pictured right behind our main character. The face is kind of smiling and happy, like he's sniggering at him, like he hasn't found him yet. It's kind of like he hasn't found out the identity, so it's kind of like his own personal demon. In my title sequence, I tried to kind of give the impression that someone, a special cop, would kind of be in my film. I don't think I did it very effectively. I tried to include the code piece of paper by the foot and have like the writing disappearing and reappearing. Kind of like, or you could only see if you really looked for it and stuff like this. But yeah, I think I could have done it a bit better. I think a more effective way to have done it would have been to have a character in there and kind of have all my footage, and then at the end have it kind of reflected into the eye of someone, like probably my male main character, kind of to give the audience the impression that we've just seen what he's seeing and he sees things a little differently from other people. There's this image of Lie to Me, and you can see that the tagline says he sees the truth, it's written all over our faces, and then his eye is like really big on the picture. I think it's really striking.